There's a specific kind of tired that doesn't show up on your face. It lives in the pause before you answer when someone asks if you're okay. It sounds like, I'm fine. And for a lot of people, it sounds exactly like this song. Welcome to the Weekly Fix. I'm John, a licensed social worker and therapist. And every week we explore one song, one emotional theme, and one clinical breakdown. Because sometimes a song isn't just a song. It's a reflection of something you've been carrying for a long time. And this week, we're talking about Drake's Make Them Cry. Drake released Make Them Cry as the opening track on Iceman. But this isn't a Drake fan episode. This is an episode about what happens when someone who has spent years performing strength finally lets the audience see what's underneath. And clinically, that's important. If you've ever been the person the family calls first, the one who handles the crisis, the one who keeps everyone calm, the one who stays strong at the funeral, this episode was made for you. Stay with me. What makes this song emotionally significant isn't fame. It's responsibility. Drake is approaching 40, and at the time he was navigating his father's cancer diagnosis, while also carrying public expectations while feuding with Kendrick Lamar. And throughout the song, he describes something many people experience but rarely name: role reversal. In family system psychology, there's a term called parentification. Parentification happens when a child takes on emotional or practical responsibilities that exceed what a child should have to carry. Sometimes the pattern continues in adulthood. It becomes identity, You stop asking, what do I need, and start asking, what does everyone else need from me? People didn't connect with this song because of the celebrity. They connected because they recognized themselves in the song. Especially in the moments where Drake talked about caring for the people who once cared for him. Many listeners heard something familiar. The exhaustion of always being needed. At first glance, people might call this grief. But I think the emotional theme goes deeper. It's beyond sadness. It's what many professionals would describe as parentification grief, compassion fatigue, and emotional depletion. Compassion fatigue happens when you spent so much time caring for others that your own emotional reserves become depleted. You're still functioning, you're still helping, you're still showing up, but internally you're exhausted. This is the song for perhaps the oldest child, the caregiver, the crisis manager, the friend everyone leans on, the person who's always okay until they're not. One of the most painful experiences in adulthood is realizing people only know how to relate to the version of you that helps, the version that survives, the version that stays strong. And eventually strength stops feeling empowering. It starts to feel lonely. Before we talk about the lyrics, let's talk about the sound. The production feels spacious, cold, almost empty. That's important. Because emotionally, the song doesn't sound explosive. It sounds contained. And that's exactly how chronic overwhelm often presents. When people spend years overfunctioning, their nervous system adapts, not through panic, through suppression. Sometimes what looked like calm is actually emotional shutdown. Not because someone doesn't care, because they've been carrying too much for too long. From an attachment perspective, Many parentified children grow up into adults who are highly attuned to everyone else's needs. They're excellent at reading the room, excellent at supporting others, but often struggle to identify their own needs because needing things feel unfamiliar. Another important concept in this song is anticipatory grief. Anticipatory grief occurs when someone you love is still alive, but you're already grieving the possibility of losing them. You're living two realities at once: the present relationship and the future loss. That emotional tension can be incredibly exhausting. You may recognize yourself here if you feel guilty resting, helping others feel easier than helping yourself. You don't know how to ask for support. You feel responsible for everyone's well-being. You struggle to identify what you need. You might not be depressed. You might be depleted. And those are not the same thing. I want to leave you with these questions this week. When was the last time you allowed someone to take care of you? Not help you, not do you a favor, actually care for you emotionally. And did you let them? Here's the reframe. Strength and suppression are not the same thing. Many people learn suppression as a survival skill. And it worked, It helped them survive. But eventually, the skill that protected you becomes the wall that isolates you. The goal isn't to stop being strong. The goal is to expand the definition of strength. This week, try one small experiment. When someone asks, "How are you?" Pause. Skip the automatic answer. Respond with the second thing that comes to mind, because usually that's where the truth lies. Drake called this album Iceman, but Make Them Cry feels like the ice cracked, right? But it's not weakness, it's not failure, it's information. A signal that something underneath the surface needs attention. And maybe that's what this song is offering. Permission. Permission to acknowledge what you've been carrying. Permission to stop performing strength for a moment. Just permission to be human. This has been the Weekly Fix. And this week's fix was Drake's Make Them Cry, and the psychology of parentification, compassion fatigue, and the hidden cost of always being the strong one. If this frequency met you where you are today, follow the show and share it with someone who may need it. And remember, music is like medicine. Here's your fix. This week's intentional listenings: Rod Wave, Abandon. For those carrying abandonment wounds. SZA, Saturn. For emotional exhaustion and wanting a different life. Janae Aiko, Born Tired. For people carrying invisible emotional weight. Olivia Dean, A Couple Minutes. For learning that safety doesn't have to be earned. Be sure to click on the link in the description to check out all of our playlists on Spotify. The Frequency Fix is for educational and informational purposes only. This content does not constitute therapy, clinical advice, or a therapist-client relationship of any kind. If you are struggling, please contact a licensed mental health professional in your area. If you're experiencing a crisis, call or text 988 for immediate support.